There is a sixth dimension beyond that which is known to man. A multiverse as vast as eternity, as timeless as the Infinity Gems. It is the middle ground between the big two and the indie publishers, between sci-fi and mysticism, and it lies between the pages of the reader's imagination. At the summit of entertainment, the dimension of comics, where a humble service is held. We call this service the Gospel of Comics.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Gospel of Comics. I am your host, the Church of Failure, and with me, as always, my trusty co-host, Curtin McCartney, who, unlike the intro says, was not here last week. What the fuck?
God damn it! I thought we were doing a Biggest Problems in the Multiverse tonight, and I was sitting at work trying to figure out what to fucking come up with because I didn't plan anything, because I never do.
Right.
And I get back and I find out we're having a regular gospel show. What the fuck?
Well, the reason we're having a regular gospel show is because we are joined in the virtual studio not only by our second co-host, Rune Knight, aka Mr. Joseph McKeever. How you doing today, sir?
I'm good. I now no longer have to go back to that decaying domicile. I could live in this decaying domicile.
Excellent. New decaying domiciles are amazing, but we are also joined by three very special guests. Returning to the show is Hazen Cruz and David of Dreamkeepers and Vivid Publishing. And for the first time appearing, we have Boneitis. All of them are still muted, by the way. I'm not sure. They can unmute now. How's it going, guys? How's everybody doing today?
Good. Good. Thank you for having us. We were just streaming on our usual Saturday stream, and I know I was scheduled here, so I was like, "Hey guys, we seems like things are popping. Let's all just come on over."
Yeah, I mean, you know, I definitely enjoy it.
it.
I definitely enjoy it. We currently have more viewers than we normally do, so I definitely attribute that to you guys. Boneitis, welcome to the show. I've been familiar with your. Oh, go ahead.
He fell out. He fell out into the waiting room. You got to
He fell out
back in here.
He fell out into the waiting room. What the fuck?
You forgot to clear his Boneitis.
How's it going? No, I didn't forget to move him. He was in here. How's it going, buddy?
No, I fucked something up. Sorry about that.
No, I'm just saying, you forgot to cure Boneitis. It's a horrible problem.
Well,
It is. It sucks. Don't do it.
I'm familiar with your more common work, but I actually learned who you were because of that drawing of Nick Ricciardi you did.
You're not the first person. That's happened many a time. People approached me because I was on those Nick Ricciardi streams last year for horrific reasons, but you know, someone had to do it.
Oh, are we talking about the Care of the Wolf incident? Is that a thing?
That and then some. Oh boy.
Yeah,
I don't have to get too far off in the weeds about that, but
well, the community at all is it's a sketchy one in some regards, but they're good people there, I'm sure.
It's rough being a member of the filthy sub race.
Yes, I can imagine.
Yeah,
it is. It's tough, but you know,
we're finding some good eggs, though. We're finding some good eggs.
As a religious institution, I look down on you guys with shame.
They're there. You gotta dig.
So situation normal. Nothing has changed at all.
That is correct. But here on the Gospel of Comics, we try and focus on comic books, and that is how we came into contact with David Vivid Publishing for his work on Dreamkeepers, and that was an interesting show to begin with because off air I was just like, so I'm not sure how my audience is going to take this work, just for the simple fact that it kind of is indicative of like furry artwork and whatnot. And he's like, don't worry about it.
You see my comics.
He's like, don't worry about it. You know, I get this all the time. It's gonna be fine. And it was a good show. David's a good guy, and the Hazen Cruz, he's just a filthy degenerate. I love him.
Yeah,
That is true.
Why am I here?
So, for the audience, if you guys want to take a minute to introduce yourselves, since Boneitis is the first time appearing here, I'd like to start, sir.
Yeah, sure. I go by Bone or Boneitis online. I'm also, my real name's Kit Jaspering. That's not like a secret or anything. Don't worry, you didn't dox me.
No, you dox
I work full time as a yeah, you know, it's whatever. Come to my house. Fuck around and find out.
Quoting Abe Lincoln, I see.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
Donald Trump. Sorry, Donald Trump. I meant Donald Trump. My bad.
I get
One of
those
my-
confused a lot. Yeah.
No, one of my readers got me a boar hunting spear for my birthday, so I've been looking for an excuse
fucking
to use
sick.
that. Yeah, it's nice. It's heavy. I love it.
From
If you
where?
want to be a super criminal, get an atlatl, because apparently those are just only terrorists have those.
Oh, atlatls are badass. What manufacturer is the boar hunting spear? Because I've been looking at some of those.
I'd have to look. I don't know offhand. It's in my truck, so
Okay.
I don't have it in my studio with me. I don't keep.
Wait, you don't carry your hunting spear with you at all times?
No, I
have a fencing rapier sitting here in my studio.
I've got a katana right here. I mean,
Please
a different weapon for every room.
I always
bring the spear
stream.
to Halloween though. We can.
Oh no, I was gonna say I always stream while holding my 40 in my hand, like my 40 caliber. I'm always holding it, just straight aiming it at the monitor in case anybody fucks around.
Who just got blown out of an airlock?
I
don't know.
It wasn't me.
Okay.
I, in fact, was going to ask Church, do you hold it properly using the sights, or do you hold it, sideways because you're just so cool?
Oh no, I definitely hold it properly with both hands, which makes it really difficult to run a stream, but somehow I manage.
Well, I don't want to talk about what limb you might be using for the controller, but, congratulations. You know how to use it.
Yeah, he controls the mouse with his cock.
That's right.
That's cool.
I mean, it's sitting on the chair right below him, just a couple inches. But
Fuck you, Ayrton.
But yeah,
I was gone last week. I got to get all my sarcasm in.
Anyway,
we're grown-ups around here.
it's all good. If we're finishing introductions, I work full time as a comic painter and illustrator. I work on the comics False Start and Vampire Hunter Boyfriends. That's my job. So,
all right. Well, I've got your Twitter and your Patreon and your Fur Affinity page linked in the description below. So,
you got everything.
Oh yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks. Thank you.
Putting
I
Hazen
also do
Cruz
the
in
show
there,
Shot. I do the comic review show Shots with Comics with my buddy Chad. We'll be recording a new episode tomorrow. So
I'll be looking for
so
my invite on that show soon.
Do we need to
Chad handles all that, but yeah, we do take guests. Our whole gimmick is we review like 3 or more comics every episode, and for every review we do, we have to take another shot, so it gets progressively harder to review the books.
You mean I've been drinking for free this whole time?
Exactly. You could have been reviewing terrible comics from the 70s.
Oh no, we do that
we
too.
get paid occasionally.
Oh, good.
We get paid occasionally, which, by the way, donate to the Streamlabs link down below. We don't plug that enough.
We've gotten sponsors, but they're all beer sponsors, and they send us beer in the mail, which is cool.
Hey, that's excellent.
How?
I don't know.
That racket.
Yeah, Chad handles it. No, New Holland Brewing Company just sent us like Christmas care packages. It was awesome.
Seriously?
Oh.
Yeah, they sent us free beer.
Hey,
Yeah,
put
they've
in a good word.
Co-host?
Yeah,
fuck you, Ayrton.
I'll give you Chad's email and some links and stuff after the show. Yeah.
So now we have the absolute proof that I'm just an intern, because I didn't get nothing for this.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
That's all right. Well, don't be sorry. They weaseled their way onto the show.
Oh, those bastards.
Like Rune Knight,
I'm
you
only
just
on this show because of beer.
he did get drunk and asked and replied to my need of a co-host. So yes.
Oh, hey, whatever works. But yeah, that's what I'm all about. If you want to introduce the other guests, go for it. Uh-oh.
Is everyone dead?
Hazen Cruz.
He's gone.
Who's next
I don't
on
know.
the list?
Hey, Hazen Cruz, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I think everybody just cut out for a second there.
Oh, okay. It's been a while since you've been back, Hazen Cruz. Why don't you reintroduce yourself to the majority of the audience that already knows who you are?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You guys know me. Hazen Cruz used to do goofy songs. Still do goofy songs sometimes. Mostly now. I upset and subsequently bully nerds on YouTube for their shitty taste in anime and video games.
Nice.
Also,
So that's pretty much where I'm at publicly.
Also, he is responsible for the vocals in the Gospel of Comics intro.
Yeah, I was gonna say sick intro.
Oh, is that
I never
you?
actually,
That's cool.
Yeah, that's me doing the vocals for that Rod Sterling shit.
Oh,
Nice.
cool.
Yep,
So you also sick bully nerds in my chat rooms, but
Yeah,
I don't care.
so
Fucking nerds.
I'm the
yeah,
spammer.
basically. And last but not least, absolutely the man of the hour, David. Why don't you reintroduce yourself again?
Oh.
Sure. Church of Failure audience members, thanks for having me back. You guys are great. We do the Dreamkeepers graphic novel series. That is the launching pad that has helped me build Vivid Publishing, my own little publishing company. Read what you want, think what you want, cut free, and be vivid. We're sort of we didn't start out that way, but cancel culture tried real hard to take us down, and we're still here, and we're having a good time. And actually, currently, we are funding Volume 5 of Dreamkeepers on Indiegogo, which the last time I was here on Church of Failure, we had not yet launched. I had no clue how it was going to go, especially in crazy pandemic year, but we blew through our goal in less than 5 minutes from the campaign launch, and now we're chewing up stretch goals because you guys, the readers, are awesome, and I'm just trying to do my best to keep up. And that's where we're at. We also run CouchCon, the online convention that has sprung up to replace all the real conventions that don't happen no more.
Yeah.
Well, they've got virtual equivalents that are just as good.
Yeah, did you not see the DC convention that
like
was just a
CouchCon.
bunch of SJWs that just couldn't form a coherent thought for 5 minutes?
What? Wait, what? What was it called?
You sure you're not confusing yourself with the Star Trek convention in which Alex Kurtzman tried to defend his terrible ideas for
Oh no!
no.
Alex,
Wait, what?
No.
Alex Kurtzman.
No,
Alex
you didn't.
Kurtzman tried to defend himself to Star Trek fans. They probably ate him alive.
Did you guys not
extra,
see?
extra?
Did you guys not see the fandom with DC though? That is.
Oh, actually,
No.
we covered that on SWC. Yeah, it was a disaster.
Yeah. Did you not see the woman that basically looked like the fat Cenobite from Hell? Hell.
Yeah, no, I saw her. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
Did we cover that?
Yeah, we talked about it for about 5 minutes before
Okay,
I had to
oh,
vomit up my
okay.
liquor.
I actually don't like the author as a person, but I do like the Books of Blood. I do, in fact, like the Hellbound Heart. Then I'm always miffed when somebody's like, "I love Hellraiser. I love that they're demons." It's like you've never read anything. You don't know what you're talking about. But I will freely state, a so just woman that looks like the fat Cenobite. No, clearly these people are from hell. We must fight them. I do not wish to see the pleasures they want to show me.
Well, on that point though, how many times have I said on this show that Mark Waid is a piece of shit, but he has written some amazing
Oh
things.
God.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. All right, just to get this out of the way, Alan Moore.
Ah, yeah.
Are you
I
a big
hate
Alan
you
Moore
so
guy?
much.
No, Ayrton, go ahead and explain.
No, I'm not explaining.
All right, Rune Knight, go ahead and explain for Ayrton then.
No, we're not doing this.
Ayrton
I
has
just got back from vacation, you assholes.
Ayrton has a deep and abiding loathing for Alan Moore.
Oh, okay.
We were doing an Alan Moore month, and for 1 week's review, I gave Ayrton pick of the litter of 4 or 5 different Alan Moore books. And
Yeah, I don't pick
being
that anymore.
being the guy that he is, he looked over the list and he said, "Oh, Neonomicon looks pretty cool." And I said, "Are you sure?"
Make him read From Hell, which is so long and dry.
No.
What the fuck am I reading?
Neonomicon had a fish penis in it, and it just scarred him for life.
Oh well.
I mean, you guys, it's nothing for Boneitis. I've seen his artwork, but it hurt Ayrton in his soul.
Apologies in advance.
It is a
Not
multi-page.
just the fish penis. It was the fish penis raping and impregnating a chick that was kidnapped by a weird sex cult.
Spoiler alert.
No, you have to put the whole of it out there, Arjun. It wasn't just that she got raped by a fish penis, or that it's a multi-page, multi-sex fish penis event. It's that she gets into it, and that the fish man falls in love with her and helps her escape after impregnating her. It's the
Okay,
most
so
bizarre shit.
so it is crucial to the plot then. Okay.
It's
yeah.
it's a love story, is what I'm hearing.
I mean, just while you guys were doing the intro, I showed off a much more graphic book on my stream as a gag. So you know,
Well,
I hate all of you so
I'll
much.
appreciate it that we don't do that on this channel specifically because I've been struck
No, I
down
know,
for
I know,
nudity before.
I did last week for drawing Larry Boy from Veggie Tales. I get you.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure
I wonder
Dr.
if Doug
Naple
ever
loved
heard
that.
about Yeah.
Yeah, Boneitis is hot off of a Twitch suspension, so he's on probation right now. He's got to play nice.
Yeah.
No wonder he's hanging out with us.
Drawing my
You're another one of those
Drawing
bad
my-
boys, on the wrong side of the tracks.
drawing my favorite Christian vegetables, and I'm getting in trouble. I mean, come on, guys.
Dr. Naple
I
actually.
assume that they were.
Go ahead, Rune Knight.
I was going to say, I assume that your Christian vegetables were as chaste and pure as possible.
I can put it in the show chat if you want.
Yeah,
I'm
put it-
afraid to say yes.
Put it in the show chat. Go ahead and do it. Aaron, if you'll
you
screen that
guys
for
are
me.
If you guys are as sensitive as Twitch, you can. If you guys are as sensitive as Twitch, you can delete it. But you know.
But no,
Yeah, there you go. That's what I got banned for. It's right there.
That's the Alan Moore joke. It's,
Oh, okay, gotcha.
let's see here. That's not so bad.
I'm very uncomfortable right
See,
That's
I
not.
got banned. I got it.
now.
I mean,
I don't agree with the banning, but I'm very uncomfortable by that image.
Good.
I mean, on
Good.
one level, I appreciate it artistically, and I appreciate the joke because I hate VeggieTales, but on another level, no, this is just proof of why we are subhuman anthropomorphic scum and deserve all the hatred we receive.
Wait, hold on. What's that? What's that we shit? What's going on? Here?
Boneitis embraces his degeneracy. What are you talking about?
I don't
Well, that's
deny it.
unfortunate.
I just admit it exists.
Oh, okay.
Well,
No.
getting back to Dreamkeepers, I had that pulled up
and
on
I
stream
thought having
now.
a chick trying to blow me live on stream once was degenerate.
No, not at all. But we do have Dreamkeepers up on the screen now, and yeah, you're currently at 389% of your funding goal. So I'd say you've made it. The book is bought and paid for now, so you have to deliver. But
Yes. Yes. No, but like not just Volume 5. We also unlocked the Omnibus, which is the first hardcover collection of volumes 1 through 4, and they unlocked foil stamping and gold gilt pages and debossing and spot. I am so psyched. These are going to be the prettiest books we have
So
ever published.
Ooh,
you're doing a
do
to
they get
Naple level.
Do they get tea with the queen as well?
You're doing a to
Yeah.
Naple
Actually,
level
we have-
hardcover, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he like picking up Earthworm Jim is one of the things that inspired me about this campaign, because I was like, hey, look at what you can actually put into a book when you're making like a collector's item like this. And yeah, he set the bar and it gave us something to emulate.
Yeah, his books are some of the books that I make it a point to buy. Like I still have to pick up Earthworm Jim too. Funny so tight right now. Yeah, I've got Bigfoot Bill 1, 2, and Earthworm Jim. Just for the simple fact that that man, regardless of what you think of his politics and his beliefs, that man puts out a beautiful book.
He knows what he's doing.
He's been
Yeah,
doing
I
it
like
long enough.
Funny. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's fun to fucking read.
You're breaking
Like,
up a little
I
bit.
know
Dave.
there.
What'd you
Me?
say? Yeah, what'd you say?
Oh damn! Am I okay now?
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. I was saying the books are fun to read. They're fucking funny. Like a lot of people in this audience probably will disagree with me on this. I disagree with a lot of the shit Doug says, and I think it's like some of it's just whack, dude. But he seems like a chill dude, and his books are fucking funny. So if you like the books and they bring you joy, that's a good reason enough to buy them, I think.
Well, as a graphic designer, as a marketing guy, I've long since had to come to terms with the idea that somebody's personal beliefs and their politics don't make the person. Like, it's their actions, it's their deeds, it's the way they treat you. And, you know, the guy's never been anything but cordial with me. Hell, I've been on 3 or 4 streams with him. You know, I'm a filthy drunkard degenerate, which, I mean, I think we can all, I think we can all somewhat identify. But I've never had a cross word with the guy simply because if we disagree on something, we agree to disagree.
That's
I think it's important to be able to do that. Yeah.
You're not allowed to do that in 2020, didn't you know?
Well, with all the other shit going on, I figured I couldn't stack anything else up on there. So it's like, I'm just gonna let it go. I'm just gonna let it go, like they said in Frozen.
Yeah.
But,
I kind of find myself leaning towards a more pragmatic approach like that too, where it's like, well, what is this person actually doing? I don't care whatever wacky stuff is going on in their head. It doesn't matter. How do they treat people? That's kind of the only thing that's going to be tangible and relevant to me anyway. Like, they can think whatever dumb stuff they want. I have dumb thoughts. It's fine. Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, I come across people in comics all the time that purport to have similar beliefs to myself, but then they treat me and my work terribly. So it's like, well, what do you do with that? It's like, do I want to be around someone who claims to believe the same things but is awful to be around, or claims to believe different things but is nice to be around? Well,
does what you do make you happy?
Yeah, of course it does.
Does it make you
my
money?
job rules. Hell yeah.
Okay, then who the fuck cares?
Amen, brother. Exactly.
You know, I mean, if it's doing those two things, like, this show doesn't really make us money per se. Like, we get a couple of dollars here and there, but we do this because we love it. We don't do it because people don't like us.
Well,
I
mean, I freely admit that the reason I weaseled my way onto here, besides I enjoy talking about comics and enjoy the company, is the vague yet undefined hope that someone will take pity on a poor crippled boy and be like, "Do you want to work in comics? Come on, let's go work in comics."
No, we're gonna get you a board game deal.
Sure, whatever.
Well, just talking, like, what in comics are you trying to do? Art, writing, like what?
Well, when I was a kid, of course, because everybody does, I wanted to draw the comics, but I lacked the ineffable quality of talent that takes you merely from somebody who tries real hard to actually gonna make it. But I transitioned into writing comics and found, like, my calling. Scripts and script writing comes easy.
Nice.
I have studied how it's done, like the actual craft. I've got a program called Celltext that helps me with formatting so that my format is correct. And I can, when all gears are firing, I can put together a script reasonably quickly, and I try to err on the side of flexible description so that while you have a good sense of what's going on and what characters and what they look like, the artist can have their room to express themselves. I'm not one of the guys that's like, I'm going to write a solid block that must be lovingly rendered by a dedicated slave.
Well, luckily that Adobe Comics Blast software just came out. So good.
Yeah, that's all you need.
You guys see that?
Yeah, we did. Should we bring that up? We should bring that up.
Oh, it's like a nightmare.
Why not?
In matter of point, I just handed Artyom a 2-page preliminary of an idea he and I are kicking around for a sort of like a black and white throwback to Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, very cool, very cool.
Kind of hinging on the stylings of deep Southern superstition or deep Southern.
Just say what you mean. Just call it racist.
Sure. Yeah. No.
It's came from
it's Lovecraft Country done by white people.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, Rude, it came from one of our conversations about blues music.
Yeah.
Right?
The actual idea was to tie as a framing device horror or gothic stories to musical tunes and interludes. So, like, every story is a song being played by your host. A ominous undead blues man at the crossroads.
Yeah,
Oh.
so like Robert Johnson's "Me and the Devil," "Hellhounds on My Trail," like those kind of like haunting,
yeah,
like
no, I
Delta
got
blues
it.
songs.
Yeah.
That's kind of the
Well,
idea.
While he was
I'm
off
excited
running
to
around,
look this over, by the way.
yeah, while you were running around in far gone corners of the world being successful, I was sitting here scribbling this lead in, like, does this look like what we might do?
I don't know about being successful. I mean, I was having fun.
Well, I just I put the Adobe Mac sneak preview for Comic Blast in the show chats. We don't have it set up where the audio pipes through for everybody yet because
Oh, okay.
well, I had
I mean, can you message it over to my phone? I could pipe the audio in from my end.
do you want to
Yeah,
do
because
that?
it's worth hearing. Because the stuff that Broad's saying while she's talking is fucked up. I think
Yeah.
it was Dave. Dave pointed out the line where she just goes, "It just needs that personal touch," and it's like, ah!
All right, Ayrton, I'll send it over to
Yeah.
your phone, and you'll have to sync up with me, just so that it'll sync up with the video on stream.
Yeah, that might be a little tricky, but yeah, we can try it out at least.
Well, yeah.
Let me just get everything set.
The way it's set up now, with everybody will have to pull it up like individually, so it'll probably work better.
I looked at exactly 20 seconds of this just to see if I could run it, and I already hate it.
All right, here's the link, Eric. Go ahead and get it set up, and why don't you fill everybody in on what Comics Blast is while we wait on that. Like, I've seen this before, but I can't say anything nice about it, so maybe you can.
No, what the hell?
I think Bone was the one that brought it up.
Well,
Yeah.
you guys were kind of edging into that territory. I know your comics thing, and this has been making the rounds in comic circles. So it's like, let's,
the main
you guys
story.
have like
Oh, go ahead.
no, if you guys have like a
Stop it.
script or style you follow for the show, and I'm totally derailing.
Being prepared for a show.
That's a good one.
Hit the soundboard, Hazen.
That's been said tonight.
So they brought me on this show. They brought me on this show to be the straight man because I'm the one guy who doesn't drink.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
I'm like five beers in.
That's a
Come
good
on.
reason.
I've had 3 shots since the show started. So.
I've had 2 whiskey
You do well.
highballs
You do
and-
well on me and Chad's show. You'd be able to keep up.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I've had 2
Like,
whiskey highball or 2 Scotch highballs, chocolate or a hot chocolate type drink I was playing with, and now I'm on a beer. So
This is now a George Thorogood stream.
I
I like
actually
you guys.
I actually used to drink Scotch and cranberry together, like Dewar's White Label and cranberry juice.
dude, highballs are fucking delicious. This might be my new drink.
Well, if I
that's an easy one. That's easy to go through.
if I had to pick a drink, like just a drink that was my drink, it would be an old fashioned. That's probably no surprise to anybody
All
here.
right.
But usually I just
No.
drink bourbon straight.
Oh, you're like me. Yeah, I just drink whiskey or bourbon straight. So
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready, by the way.
Are you ready?
We should be good. We should be good to go.
oh,
right,
good.
yeah,
Then
I'm
I
gonna-
can go pee.
All right, I'm gonna pull back to all zeros, and we're gonna hit play in
Okay.
3, 2, 1, now.
I am Garima and I love reading comics. And can I let you
What?
in on a little secret? I have recently started designing one. But I think you will agree that designing comic like a pro is no easy task. I have to write the
Fuck.
script. plan
We're
the
already
layout,
off sync.
draw the art, create speech bubbles.
Why don't you mute your end of the video?
My
Just
video
play the
is
video
muted,
bit,
but
and I'll play the.
yeah, I
Oh,
did.
okay.
But
It's
her
yeah.
lips are already off sync. So. Look at how she's placing these fucking panels.
Maybe
But
that's just
you're
how
at
she
33
talks.
seconds.
Listen to the video. Like
Maybe she just talks off sync.
Okay, I'm at 35 seconds. Sorry.
35. Okay. I'm at 35.
Okay.
Back there.
All right.
All right. We'll go on your mark. How about that?
Okay. All right. And 3, 2, 1.
And put them together. Panel by panel.
Like, watch how she
one by
places these
one,
word bubbles.
page by
Who the fuck is
page
talking?
by page.
Somebody else scream.
Presenting Comic Blast, a fun and easy way to create pro comic books. Let's have a look.
Pro
Scripts
quotes.
for comics typically follow a
I just
structure.
imagine those people
And
walking,
comic
minding their own business.
books
Somebody's like,
often
hey,
have been trained
you know about the history of Kingdom Hearts?
identify components.
Hey, Brew Knight, do you have that tokenism rant queued up in your brain there?
Is import the script.
I'll keep you in the loop. I was saving that for later, maybe.
Okay.
Who is this woman, and why did Adobe hire her to do this commercial without giving her like more than the laptop's built-in fucking mic?
Because she has hipster glasses with plastic lenses that make it look like she's wearing them.
Oh, thank you for
But they-
calling no tech support. I may be helping you today.
She needs
Oh,
a fucking
fuck you, Ayrton. That's racist.
microphone. It sounds like she's talking to me from a different room in my house.
Now, as somebody who prolifically uses Adobe Illustrator, you can make your own panels more dynamic than this using the pen tool.
To add the art, I simply import my hand-drawn sketch.
Yeah, you probably could.
In matter of point, I was just reading a 90s era Spider-Man this afternoon, and while every page had about 4 panels on it, they were much more dynamically set.
Who's the artist? Who was the artist on those?
Probably Ramita.
This whole thing is super static. Like nothing is going on in these individual panels.
Is this the thing where you take pictures of people?
No, this is the one where you take your pencils and live trace them. Oh no, you can put somebody else's face in.
Look at that! I'm in the comic now.
Yeah, who the fuck asked for this?
Yeah, it's super gay.
The same people who do those weird like Snapchat comics of themselves.
I'll agree with Sweetcast on one thing here. The choose your own adventure nature of this program is actually pretty interesting. But I would never live trace pencils and inks. That is just fucking
we gotta tell Crypto Comics. That's a good idea. Like have a choose your own adventure type thing on the website.
Oh yeah,
that's exclusive to their platform.
Wow.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to read comics like that, but I get why people would like it.
When we finish this video, I have a loser story to tell.
Okay.
Could I get a choose your own adventure like home bar?
Isn't that just a bar?
It always just ends in a cement mixer, Ayrton. That's the joke of it.
No, see, because I want it at home, so I don't have to figure out a way to get to or from the bar, because I live out in a rural area. So
well, just get a girlfriend that hates you. Just get a girlfriend that hates you, and will put mayonnaise and tequila in the same shot glass.
Hey, my dating profile. I'm too old for that shit. My dating profile says I'm looking for a healthy relationship with toxic relationship sex.
You give a friend of yours the money. You send them for the alcohol. You have them pick it blindfolded, and bring you home a bag of random crap you have no idea what is. Then you choose your own adventure from that.
Oh, dude, I like that idea for a stream. Holy shit, Church, we're doing this.
Yeah, you just have somebody get a bunch of mini bottles and dump them all into a mason jar, and you just take shots of that.
No, I'll just have them get the mini bottle. I'll have one of my friends go buy a bunch of shooters, and then will blindfold me.
Oh, no, you just take the labels off of them.
Whatever I get handed, I have to drink.
Yeah, you just take the labels off of them or pour them into blank bottles.
You can tell by the shape of the bottle and the color.
Not if you get empties or whatever, or you pour them into fucking spice jars. Like I've got probably
You can still see the color. You can still see the color of it.
yeah, because rum and whiskey aren't the same color. You fucking asshole.
They're not the same color.
Guys, you just add food coloring to all of it. You make it all look blue.
That's right.
It's just loaded with
Okay.
glycol.
It's all hypnotic.
But
All right, the next drunk show I do, I promise I will do that. I'll turn my camera on and you guys can watch me take a bunch of random ass shots.
so
Ooh.
my loser
You guys
story.
do need to be on our show. With all the shots off. Like, goddamn. I gotta tell Chad tomorrow when we record. I'll be like, hey, I found some other people that are burgeoning alcoholics like us.
Burgeoning my ass.
We are
My loser-
professional
I'm a
alcoholics.
professional, sir.
Yeah, they're professional.
Oh, you'll be able to keep pace then. Great. Listen, we've had some beginners, and I hate taking them to the hospital.
Oh,
I've got about a
But,
third of a
my
bottle of
loser
bourbon
story,
left, and I
so-called
probably won't
because-
by the end of the stream.
I want to hear this loser
I like
story.
it,
Come on.
my loser
Sorry.
story is so called because I read books. Many moons ago, my mom bought me a anthology from the used bookstore by an author named Harry Harrison, who is noteworthy because he did a short story set in the same filmic or novel universe as Soylent Green. So he had a bunch of short stories, and one of them is about comics. Okay? And it's about the last true comic artist, the last traditional comic artist at the last comic house on the last day when they're bringing in the automated comic artist.
Oh my God. This sounds like a nightmare.
Oh, it is. It's horrifying because we're living in this world now.
Wait,
Yeah,
you met
no, it sounds too
the-
familiar.
you met Tom King?
Oh no, you're gonna love this. So the story has
Did
it
that joke just
that this
fail? I'm
guy-
sorry.
used to do. It absolutely did. The story has it that this guy used to do traditional comics like we do with hand drawing and ink and whatnot.
Oh wow.
And they introduced the machines, the computers that could do it for you instead, where you select bubble number 6 and hero head number 3 with chin number 4, and he self-taught how to do that so he could keep in the business because he loved comics, right? And
So your
he's
character
doing his
creation
last
was
day's
basically
work.
the same thing as Skyrim.
Yeah.
Well, he
and he's
hit
doing
the create art button.
right. Well, that's the thing. He's doing his last art on the day that they're bringing in the device. It's not just a computer that makes comics, but it's a computer that makes comics based on algorithms that doesn't even need an artist. It just generates comics for you.
Well, that was what
Right.
they had in 1984. They had the story kaleidoscopes.
Yep.
Right. So this guy finishes his work, and then he pulls out the old table and he pulls out the old tools, and he's drawing something, right? While the characters who are coming to fire him are talking about it, because he's an artifact and he's just a nice old man. It's really a shame, but what can you do? It's business. And then they hear the window shatter as he flings himself out the upper story lattice to go die in the street, right? And it's like,
my
oh
God.
god, and it's like, oh god, he killed himself, whatever. And then the one secretary screams
Killed himself,
'cause they
whatever.
at the art that he drew. Yeah, but no, they
Yeah,
look at the art. No, they look at
Whatever.
the art that he drew on his board, right? And using the traditional methods, he drew himself drawing his comic, standing up, walking to the window, and throwing himself out of it. Right? Because the point of the short story is the idea that there is an ineffable something. There is that actual artistic quality that only a human being can bring to the craft that a machine cannot replicate. That can affect people. Which is why we read comics in the first place.
Well, we read
And it's
comics
like,
in the first place because
again,
we're bored, but yeah.
That's
And
But-
titties.
and the titties. But I mean, the fact that the titties can make you interested, as opposed to just being like,
I
that's
watch porn
tits
for the
number 3.
titties. I read
Yeah.
comics for the capes. Let's be real here. Titty
Yeah,
comics.
But
Titty comics never did it for me. I can imagine how it did for some.
my point is though is like that story I was telling the other day. We were having a 1v1 combo, and I was talking about my housemate who was it was like, oh, we're living in the future because he saw some kid wearing a VR visor while riding non-hovering hover board, right? And it's
Yeah.
like, no, this is the actual view of the future, and the actual view of the future is comics by assembly line with no human interaction by non-professionals who think that they have an equal access to the market just because, look, I made this in a half hour with no training or practice or effort.
Well,
I had an idea. Isn't it good?
Well, we've had
Yeah.
we've had a couple of conversations, you, me, and Ayrton tonight about my comic idea. I've never passed it on to these fine gentlemen that we have guesting on our stream. So, if you'll allow me,
It's
um,
already funnier than what we just saw.
are you guys
Get ready to give Church a reach around.
are you guys familiar with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, like the original Power Rangers with the diamond check suits?
Yeah, like the old
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So imagine instead of 5 teenagers with attitude, it's 5 quarreling religious representatives, right? So you have like
With attitude.
yeah, you have like a Catholic priest, you have like a Muslim imam, you have a Buddhist monk, I don't know what the Jews call their leaders. Just an Orthodox,
Rabbi.
yeah, and a rabbi from the old Orthodox sect.
A Scientologist.
And
Super rabbis.
and whatever else you wanted to plug into the last one. I always thought that the Sixth Ranger would be an atheist with a guitar, and that's how we'd work it into the book.
An atheist named Jim.
Yeah, maybe a Satanist. Maybe we have to have a Satanist.
A flying V.
Well, what was it? In the Aquabats, they had Eagle Bones Falconhawk, and he was halfway there.
But you have your Zordon type character summoning these.
The last person should be a Scientologist.
Okay, all right, we'll do that. We'll do a Scientologist, but you have your Zordon figure bringing these people together.
Wouldn't Scientology be the enemy?
No. No, but we could fight Scientology, and the Scientologists could, come around from that battle. Mormons could also fill in.
I'm just saying, I want to see them summon, you in your ultimate form and have you fight a giant, stoned out of his mind, Hubert.
I'm good with that.
That's a good idea.
But
okay, you don't want to fuck with Scientology. I tried that.
But
that's a better idea.
But yeah, and instead of like the Zords, they just all have their vehicles that form into the Church of Failure. But unlike the Megazord, they don't control it once they form it. I just kind of do whatever the fuck I want.
This is starting to sound like a Jack Black thing.
Yeah, well, why not? I mean, he's popular. He makes a lot of money. I'm good with that.
Seriously, if this ever becomes a movie, I want Jack Black to play Church.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good with that. He played R.L. Stine. He's good enough to play me.
I'm a big fucking robot, Cal.
Now, here's how you would know that this is a successful idea. You will know this idea is a success in its execution when you get very bitter condemnation from every one of those religions.
Yes, absolutely. And
Yeah.
oh, wait a minute. So you mean that I have to draw Muhammad in the comic so the Muslims try to kill me? I got it.
Exactly.
But you don't win until you make them all angry. They all have to be angry.
Well, drawing Muhammad seems to do that. R.I.P. Charlie Hebdo.
Well, he can't because he'll get condemnation for everyone except the Jews. He'll go, eh.
Oy vey.
You just have to work a little harder. You got to work a little harder for that. That's
you go ahead and draw your comic. God forbid you don't get your work out there.
No. The rabbi just keeps making vague references on how he should have gone into politics or the media.
The rabbi is trying to marshal his vehicle, and his wife is like, "No, you can't go play with your friends. You have to have a sandwich.
You have to have a sandwich.
You haven't eaten all day. You're gonna
baloney.
Honey, the pot roast is ready. Quit playing with your friends. It's time for dinner.
This just sounds like every neighbor's mom on every Nickelodeon cartoon.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah, but there would
I
be
want to
feet
be
involved.
offended, but I've heard all these voices before, so.
Well,
you know.
the thing is that it wouldn't be Nickelodeon unless there was a foot fetish involved. So calm down.
Oh,
That's true.
no.
It just ends with the wife standing there looking very severe. Everyone else is sitting inside their vehicles eating a meal. The
Eating
the chur-
BLTs.
yeah, the church bot is sitting there in the yard because it's like, see, isn't this better? You brought all your friends for dinner.
Maybe
Nipples
what if there was, like, a
aflame.
Wait, how
strategy of
many
the bad
mouths
guys-
do I have to feed?
Or you could have the bad guys have a strategy where they decide to attack the Earth like during the Sabbath.
Yeah.
So that way they disable by
Right.
default one of the team members. It's like, oh well, you can't fight on the Sabbath.
Then they have a fight about which day is the Sabbath. You know what? It'd be really funny if the whole thing was just like a comedy like that, where like
that's the whole point.
They never actually save anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it is okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
the whole
like,
point.
God
They never
damn, that's
save
so good.
anything. Occasionally, I just look at the enemy and go, I'm not dealing with this, and leave.
Well,
And goes to a bar.
I mean, it's double funny if the villains never actually conquer or destroy anything successfully either.
Yeah, we'd have to do deals with other people who had heroes to come in and actually save our planet. Like we'd have to make a comic scale alliance kind of thing where other people would be responsible.
Oh,
It's
Like, other heroes had to come in and like defeat our villains because we just never accomplished anything because of all the turmoil.
Because the church is passed out in a bar.
You should make the Scientologists the heroes
I can just
and the bad guys. You knew.
We were the villains all along.
I can just see this. You have a villain that's like atheism plus. That's like, come on, you have to fight me because I'm a bad guy. Come on.
Ooh, we could parody George
It kinda
Maddox.
looks like TJ.
We could parody George Maddox as the Mormon.
Oh, you're right.
That's really funny.
Although I kind of like the idea. What if you started off with the Scientologists as the good guys, and it was like you're unironically really pushing that religion hard, and then you get the financial backing from their church, but then suddenly season 2, sarcasm starts sneaking in after you've already got the funding.
The horrible discovery that
after the Will
Meta.
Smith cameo.
The horrible realization that the Scientologists are actually a Cthulhu cult the entire time.
See, you got hold on, just to put this in, is you guys jest about Scientology, but I was like majorly involved in those Project Chenology protests back in the day. So
Oh yeah, that's when you got arrested, right?
I did, yes, I
Wait,
did.
wait. I want to hear more about this.
This is relevant to my interests.
This was God. What was that? 2008, 2009.
It's more interesting than anything I have to bring up.
I was in college, and my younger brother showed it to me, and I was like, "Hell yeah, that's cool! I'm on like spring summer break. Let's do this." We went to one of the protests. It was super gay. We like all wore like meme outfits and played stupid music in the streets and pretended we were about something real. But the part where we got arrested was we were going around.
I thought you said Chenology, not Occupy Wall Street.
This was just as gay.
Oh, okay.
But we made a bunch of signs in my parents' backyard using these large rollout sheets and cans of spray paint, like, oh, fuck Scientology, whatever the fuck we could come up with. I don't even remember what the signs were, but we found my old high school. We climbed it in the middle of the night and hung all these signs on it. And then we're like, dude, let's hang one from a highway overpass, like those people who do like the proposal ones, like, oh, will you marry me, Sharon? They're like, oh, that'd be cool. And we hung a sign, and the overpass we chose was like within view of a police station.
Excellent.
So they immediately saw us, and like
Wah, wah.
it was a bunch of college and high school kids hanging like paper signs, and like 4,000 police cars show up to ask us, what are you doing?
To peacefully detain you.
Yeah, and we were, we'd never been dealt with cops or
somebody
anything
play
like
the
this.
Seinfeld thing.
We were a bunch of white kids from like the nice side of St. Louis. We're like, oh God, oh! And they're actually like, do you know what you did tonight? And it's like, we hung a sign up. We saw people do it when they get engaged. And they're like, that sign is dangerous. It could fall down. And then they're like, I'm gonna go talk with my colleagues about what to do with you. It's like me, my younger brother, and a bunch of our friends all sitting in like my mom's SUV, like, oh God, we're in so much trouble. Oh.
I can't believe they canceled Futurama.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not. While we were passing the time, we were talking about Futurama and Family Guy being canceled. This is how long ago this was.
Family Guy was canceled? I thought Family Guy was eternal.
Oh. And eventually, our cop was like this, big fat white guy with a porn star mustache. He looked like, this is like this is like a cop you'd cast as a joke.
Wait, were you arrested by the Highway Patrol?
No, this was not. It was not Chips.
This sounds like city cops. Yeah.
They were.
I was going more for Super Troopers, but yeah.
They were Creve Corps police, if you need to get very specific about the area. But once again, very, very well-to-do area. And they came back, they're like, all right, we're going to let you go. We're not going to arrest you. And we're like, oh, thank you. They said, but you have to take down all the signs you put up. So it's like 2 a.m. We have to drive back to these high schools and like climb back up them in the middle of the night and like take down signs we put up on them as a joke because we didn't want to be like, oh God, they'll know it was us and they'll take us to jail.
So as most of the audience knows, I currently reside in a little town called Toadsuck, Arkansas, but I grew up in South Carolina. And South Carolina, there's a little tiny like county called Union County. We were driving through that. Me and my best friend from high school happened to be an African American fellow, and he was driving. And before I was an anatomically correct building, I was a white guy. So you know how that goes.
What?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well,
Church is only white from the waist down, though.
no, waist up. You get it backwards on.
Oh.
But
okay. I was about to say, I'm sorry.
But we were riding through Union County and we got pulled over for being friends, I guess. And I swear to God, this cop came up to the car and he reached in the window and kind of leaned in, laying on the frame of the window that was up. And he says, "You know where you guys are right now? You in Union County, boy."
God's country.
And I swear to God, nothing.
So, like, what did you just like? Oh, thank you, Officer MathQuest. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to go to jail that day, so I said, "Yes, sir. We know where we're at."
You think you're funny?
Ah, damn it! I thought I was in Confederate County.
I was just on my way to lynch this here Negro, I guess. I don't know. What do you want me to say to get out of this fucking arrest? What do you want?
Judging by your white supremacist hate speech tattoos on your arms, I thought you were in the Confederate County.
I mean, the obvious answer is to pull up your shirt and show your glorious man moves.
Well,
because
right,
cops.
That's how I get out all mine.
That works for you guys. I guess I need to go up a cup size. Give me some donuts, sweetheart.
I've only gotten a ticket out of a ticket once for showing my tits.
Oh, well, better than none. So, now that we're beyond that, I actually did have some topics for the But let's
Yeah,
go
don't we
back
have
to
things to actually talk about.
well, we're here to talk about Dreamkeepers and its massive success, but I don't know how
I'm-
much more we can bring it. I feel like talking about it more would just bring it down.
I'm sorry, buddy, about any chargebacks that come from this show.
Well, actually, I can add one more thing.
Go ahead.
I can add one more thing about Dreamkeepers because I forgot to mention it before, but we also we're halfway to one of our biggest stretch goals, which is animation for another playable character in our game that we're developing. It's not going to complete the game, but it'll unlock another character in the demo. And actually, on that note, we do have an engine test of the demo that people can download and play. So I'm going to put that in the live show chats if anyone is interested.
Well, fancy you.
Yeah, well, it took me forever to animate Mace alone, and that's why I was like, wow, it knocked I think like a solid 2, maybe 3 months of production time out of my comic schedule just to get Mace running around.
I
It's like,
remember
okay,
when you were working on that. It was just like constant, like, here's another set of frames. I was like, oh my God. So I never want to make a video game in my life.
I mean, I like animation. It's really fun to do it the old school way, and I like games that have that old school actual hand drawn animation. But making Mace, it's like, okay, this is so time consuming. If I'm going to do more playable characters, we're going to have to get a budget. I'm going to have to scale up and hire some help. So that's this campaign is at least getting us closer to that. And it's also
looking at this sprite,
go ahead.
the character in the red legs and shoulder pads. Is that's got some real Mega Man vibes to it. Tell us about this game.
Sure. Well, the game is like I said, it's still in development, but we want to have it be a side scroller adventure game. So I got Mace running around in his little bomber jacket. You can jump, attack. There's a lot of different stuff you can do with him. It's only about half of the actions we want, but when it comes to stuff that I haven't finished his animation sets yet, we just didn't put that stuff in the little demo level. So like there's nothing for him to pick up and throw. There's no water for him to jump in. There's no ladders to climb on and no ropes to swing on. So it's pretty basic. He's just running around and jumping. But we also, like, the entire game engine has been coded from scratch by my good friend Ed. So that's the other thing is, like, we're not just busting out Unity and, like, banging out a cheap platformer. He's been working, actually, we've been working on the game and talking about the gameplay that we want specifically since about 2011. So the gameplay engine, man, he's got some really sophisticated stuff under the hood. Even the way he coded the rendering, he did it based on the way I shade my comics. So we're able to simulate it and get the shading and the lighting on the characters almost paralleling the way I shade the comics, which is really cool. And he's also building in his own physics engine to it, which is he's bumping into all kinds of neat stuff that I wouldn't have even thought of. It was like, oh, I figured out a way to make the engine even more efficient. And it's like, really? How did you do that, Ed? He's like, well, I realized because when you have the physics engine, things are bouncing off of each other and it has to calculate that based on the frame rate. But you can actually estimate the momentum of objects in physical space much better if you think of them as resistance in an electrical circuit. And that helps you compound the different bouncing mechanics like way easier if you use those equations instead of physics equations. And it's just like
so like Ohm's law equation.
Pretty much, but apparently if you're having a lot of stuff bouncing around in a physics equation, it's like actually if you approximate it using electrical resistance instead of Newtonian stuff, gets the same effect, just way more efficient, which I don't understand it. That's about as much as I understand my ability to parry it.
That's really interesting.
Making games sounds so fun.
I can't believe any of this because mainstream comics media tells us that comic fans who are male are clearly only knuckle-dragging idiots.
Right, like why? Where are the massive titties? Like, I'm sorry, where are the characters where I have to question their organs?
I can't.
Well, if you imagine the titties are more like electrons than actual,
So
okay, so what you're saying is that we can make the items interact as long as we massage the tits with our eyeballs.
Well, according to his calculations, how he's doing this, tits would be watts in the calculation.
Well, let's
and how much they jiggle.
Give me a second.
Would be the volts times by
stop
the
it! You stop it!
Excuse me, sir. The term is jiggle watts.
I hate all of you.
Oh, sorry.
Just to kind of cover this, everything to 65,000 has been unlocked. 75,000 gets you a free art print with a thank you to everyone who made this happen. Getting the perk mailed to you. You'll have a bonus art print included, made special and exclusive for this campaign. But the next stretch goal of $125,000 is a video game. And how do you pronounce these characters' names?
Bast and Nama.
Damn it! I was hoping the character's name was Based.
That would have been more funny.
Big Mega Man fan over here, Church of Failure.
No. Based and Red Pilled. You know.
Based.
Yeah.
Oh no, Based and Red Scarf.
I thought it.
Based and Red Scarf, yeah.
and see, here I thought the joke that Church was making was about being based. Like this was going to be a Vor barbecue thing. So clearly we're going a different direction.
I disavow. Can I fire Rune Knight?
You can fire whoever you want to.
Once a night. I'm fired at least once a stream. So.
But
except I don't want to because that's my gimmick.
Yeah.
But I want to.
Well, I have to fire somebody when you're not here. But our video game has been in the works behind the scenes for years. Custom engine coded from scratch, playable animation for Mace, but he's lonely. Now we're ready to complete the game, but we're not ready to complete the game, but funding for animation will punch production up a whole new level. And we add another playable character to the mix, so time to vote.
Did I do it wrong?
Bast or Nama. As a backer, you'll get early access to test modules featuring the newly minted character, and at $200,000, why make a choice when you can have it all? Bast and Nama will both have animation produced and put into a playable test module on your screen and put a massive strides closer to the completed video. So
yeah, and so I'm excited about that. I didn't want to be like, oh, dude, if you get us this animation, boom, the game, because
you're fired.
You're fired. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Let's go. No, I'm not.
Not yet.
I'm not firing anybody. Whoever's being fired right now got nothing to do with me.
You're fired.
Yeah, but I wanted to make sure that we get the playable characters first, and I want to do a lot of play testing with them, go through a bunch of iterations, and then look at producing the game after we have a whole lot of testing under our belt. So that's why I'm only promising test modules for people to have fun with. I don't want to promise the whole game being done because that's a huge pile of work. So it would still require a lot more work after we have the character animation.
Wait, you're actually putting out testing betas of a game to see what people think of it first and getting feedback before releasing it and making people pay for it?
That just sounds like it wouldn't work.
I did put the link for dreamkeeperscomic.com/game.html into the chat, so everybody check that out.
I mean, I thought how this is supposed to work is you're just supposed to dictate to the consumer what they want, and then they just buy it.
And to be fair, there is a little bit of a balance where I want feedback from people, but I still want to make sure that me and the developer, we have in mind what we want to do. So feedback that helps us do that more effectively, that helps us out. But I don't want to lead people on. Any idea you have, we are your slave,
Yeah, but how many game developers are you blowing for good reviews? That's the question.
Not enough.
5 guys.
Actually, on that note,
if you
aside from you guys and the Crypto Comics guys, it's been just a blackout in terms of coverage on this. Even Comicsgate, even EVS.
And
it's they are not letting a whisper of our campaign. So there's something weird.
I don't think you want the blackness that comes with my evaluation of Ethan Skyver on your. I'll just keep quiet on that.
No, well, hold on. What are your thoughts? I'm curious.
I'm not a fan.
Oh God, here we go.
Okay, sure.
I'm kind of an
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm kind of an outsider to the whole movement, but the premise of the movement interests me. What they say it's about. They say it's about indie comics and building something outside the mainstream. And it's yeah, that sounds great.
It absolutely is, as long as you're bending the knee to God Emperor Ethan.
Oh well, I have trouble with that.
Yeah, see, I kneel before no man. But
I I only bend my knee once a month just to make sure I still don't like it.
It very much seems like you have the people who want to make comics, the people who make comics, and the people who want to make comics who want to be the people that make comics doing the exact same things, but they just didn't get there first.
Let me just put this into perspective for you. Okay. You guys remember the schism of 2018? Where
Which one?
where
Yeah. You're not
Mike
narrowing it down, bud.
where Mike S. Miller, Edwin Boyette, and Doug TeNapel were all kind of cast off the island.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Do you
I
remember
remember
what
Doug
caused
getting
that?
cast off the
Do you remember what caused that schism?
No. What was the inciting incident?
Mike
I'm kind
S.
of
Miller
oblivious,
putting
yeah.
a tweet out saying that pride is a sin during Pride Month. Okay. Now,
Wow.
for perspective, Mike S. Miller, Edwin Boyette, and Doug TeNapel are all very pronounced hardcore Christians. Okay, they are very anti-open homosexual acceptance, and I'm not down with that particularly. I didn't like the tweet. I didn't retweet it, but I also didn't kick the motherfuckers out of Comicsgate for it. Right? Well,
Yeah, sure.
that's essentially what happened. Their beliefs got them removed from the Comicsgate branding and promotion. And
Okay.
Ooh, that gets sticky, doesn't it?
it does, especially
Yeah.
when you take into
Yeah.
consideration a year later, Ethan Van Sciver goes on a live stream. Someone else's live stream, by the way, not a Comicsgate Live, but someone else's live stream. And Liam Gray, author of Xenotype, goes on Life with Liam to talk with Pan and calls Pan the F slur on someone else's channel. So
Like as a joke?
no, in heat. I'd
No.
prefer you didn't.
I'm not
But,
allowed to, right?
Well, I mean, was he? I don't know who these other people are. You have to forgive me. I don't know a lot
Pan
about like,
is,
current comic shit.
Pan's a member of Word Campaign, a founding member.
Oh,
Okay.
actually, no. That's
I think.
hold on.
Oh,
But
go ahead,
What
Bob.
what is War Campaign? I've been trying to figure it out for months. What does that mean?
It means you're a shit poster who buys a lot of comics books.
Is that what? Is that all? We were trying to figure it out for like something we were writing.
No, Word
We can't
Campaign.
figure out what War
Why is it called War
Most
Campaign?
of them are veterans, Pro 2A guys.
Oh,
They were
That makes a
Ethan.
little more sense.
They were Ethan Van Sciver's sword and shield until he separated himself from them because they didn't like Anna, that Star Wars girl. They didn't like the fact that Dynamite gave her a Vampirella cover and that she just shit the bed on it with bad artwork. They criticized her art. Yeah, they criticized her artwork, and then they were also kicked out of Comicsgate because they didn't bend the knee to Anna.
Oh.
Like just like
How
just
was
hearing
Anna
about this,
involved?
Anna
like already
Who
just
was
the
in
basic.
Anna did a cover for Dynamite
is
Comics
weird.
Vampirella #1. I can bring it up on screen, and you guys. In fact, I'd like to do that, and you guys give me your first impression.
I was gonna say, isn't this the Vampirella with the booty shorts?
It's a Vampirella that looks like a fucking Bratz
I've
doll.
drawn Vampirella.
It's the Vampirella cover that looks like a
with
Bratz
girls
doll.
and shit.
Boy, I can't
Okay.
wait to see this.
Yeah, let me pull up an image.
I want to throw out there. As you throw this, I want to point out there that I don't even like Vampirella, and this sounds awful.
Well,
I'll
the
pull
thing
up my
is like,
Vampirella for comparison.
I'll you do that and put it in the show chat. I'll pull up hers first. All right, so I'll open the tab so I can
I have read Vampirella, and I was
God, that's terrible. This
but
is
I was
what
like,
want.
people are allowed to like it, you know.
But yeah, you're allowed to like it, but you're also allowed to critique it, right? Like that's fair. You should be allowed to critique it without getting kicked out of the fan group that, Anyway.
That's what I was. Remember, Dave, when I was telling you about this, I think last week on Snake Fit, I was saying that like if volume 5 came out and sucked, I feel like I could tell you that.
Anybody looking at the stream can see the cover now. Bone, I can't put that up, buddy. You know that.
And And
Sure you can. There's no
I'm
nudity.
suing for life rights of that picture.
I'll pull it up.
Here's the
I'll
thing.
pull it up.
I don't.
But that's the cover that
Yeah,
that
I
we're
wanna be clear,
comparing it
like,
to. And the
I want to be
reason,
clear, like in terms of artistic quality.
Oh, mine's better.
yeah,
Yours is solidly better, but I also don't like either of them.
but
Oh,
and I also want to put
my-
into perspective. Go ahead, Moon Knight.
I was gonna say my boggle with Vampirella is that I've always felt like it was exploiting the fact that I have a penis. You know, it's like you're a 15-year-old boy. Buy this half-naked vampire chick. You're stupid.
Well-
and it just that does not appeal to me as a consumer.
Well, and here's the stick of it, right? Has everybody seen the cover on stream?
yeah. That looks
Okay.
like shit. Like,
Okay. Well, here's the
like,
reason
like
that
little kid stuff.
well, here's the reason that War Campaign critiqued it, right? Like this is Anna That Star Wars Girl's Etsy page that I'm putting into the same chat there. Just click on that and look at the amount of skill that she has in her paintings. And the main critique was, why didn't she paint something of this caliber for that cover and represent Comicsgate? As opposed to...
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. That's night and day, man.
Right.
She's not.
Those are great.
she-
Yeah.
she's
Was it a
not-
direction issue though? Like, was it something
No.
like where some editor was just
No,
like,
they
we
gave-
need this.
They gave her free reign to make a cover, and she said that this cover was a tribute to her sister, and I'm like, bitch, you could paint Vampirella with a rose in her hand. I have to draw it. You definitely don't take a
something
fucking...
is amiss there.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And the reason that War
Like,
Campaign
I
was
don't
kicked
know
out of
if it.
Comicsgate was because they critiqued the fact that she could do better than she did, and she just didn't. But that wasn't okay.
So they see. This is where it gets weird to me because I thought sort of the whole premise of the Comicsgate movement starting was like, oh, these industry pros are doing bad things, whether it's like tweeting too much or oh we don't like their work, and they won't let us critique them and they won't treat us with respect as customers. Therefore, we have to start Comicsgate. So
Right.
to hear them, the Comicsgate is like doing the exact same stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
wait a minute,
Doesn't
isn't that
it piss you off?
precisely what they were?
As I understand it, because I'm the Johnny Come Lately.
Oh, I always
Comicsgate was formed very much like Gamergate from a displeasure with the idea that people who were getting into the industry and were now insiders were using that to sort of throw their weight around and being like,
Absolutely.
well, I'm on the inside, you're on the outside. You don't get to tell me what to do anymore.
Right,
It's
and
like,
I can
no,
block
we're
you
the
for
consumer.
critiquing
We have
me.
a right.
And I can block
Yeah.
you for critiquing me. And then Comicsgate started to do the same thing. And hypocrisy, I know thy name, and don't respect thee.
Yeah, and it hinges on the idea that as the consumer, we do actually have a right to assert whether or not we like something. We can't stop somebody from consuming it, but you have to listen to the demand part of supply and demand. If the demand says this is terrible and we deserve quality and we can produce quality,
You're getting into Diamond Rant territory, so I'd back off just a little bit.
Okay.
Because
Wait on that.
We're
coming up later.
That's where I started my little comics industry journey. Is in 2008. I wrote this series of articles. It's still up on my blog about Diamond and the distribution and how we needed a new market. And that's why the Comicsgate stuff, it's starting to interest me more and more now that we've brushed elbows with Ethan Van Sciver, I guess. Because it's like, okay, this seems like they're putting themselves out there as the new face of independent comics. And it's like, wait a minute, do you guys even care at all if the books are good?
No.
That's sort of a...
No, because literally one of the comics that they've been pushing heavily has been called, and I shit you not, Cash Grab.
Let me put it this way: meet
That
the
could
new
be funny.
face, same as the old face.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Well,
and we went from having a guy who vehemently disavowed the idea that he was the leader to self-proclaiming himself the leader and face.
Church.
Wait,
That's what I
so
said.
are you saying that Wait, are you saying that Ethan Van Sciver is the Julian Assange of Comicsgate?
No, he's the Julius Caesar of Comicsgate, and he's waiting to get knives in his back. And
Well,
every
no,
time
it's
somebody
just- it's
disagrees
pertinent
with him,
because
he calls them traitors.
Well, no, I'm actually serious because I saw a documentary talking about WikiLeaks, and WikiLeaks used to be like under the control of a group of people who were interested and well-meaning, and like Julian Assange weaseled his way in and made it a cult of personality, so that he can now be on the run in a third world country's embassy, so that we can't arrest him for potential crimes he might have done.
I mean, he's no John McAfee, though.
He isn't, but John McAfee's in cuffs right now, so I'm pretty sure he's glad of that.
Yes, but have you seen his tweets from prison? They're fucking hilarious. John McAfee is
Everything he tweets is fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
Jesus
everything
Christ,
John
the guy.
McAfee does is amazing.
We'll clown him.
It's just weird to me to hear about Comicsgate, quote unquote, throwing people out of like the whole point of like the whole goal for me is I want to market a comics market that is a meritocracy where the best stuff can be found by people where it would actually benefit their lives. And for that to
that's
happen,
sexist and racist.
we need open contributions. We need everyone able to make whatever they want, put it out there. We need accurate reviews to
that's
tell
the dream.
customers.
That's the dream, right? But
Yeah.
when you fight for the copyright on something and you try and make it yours, it's no longer open to the people who have full control over it. Comic Artist Pro Secrets is the be all end all of Comicsgate, and it never should have been that way. But the thing is we
No
live
wonder he flaked out.
we live in a
'Cause, like-
society where if you have 1 million followers or you have 5 million followers or whatever, you're more important than the guy that has 100,000 or 1,000 or 100. And the thing is that shit goes to your head. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And that's never going to change. And I think that because I was on board with Comicsgate as it first arose, and then as I watched it evolve, and I watched people get thrown out, and I watched people get thrown under the bus, and I watched people who put tens of thousands of their own dollars, like singular people that put tens of thousands of dollars into the pockets of these creators, get disavowed because of their opinions as customers, not as creators.
You're fucking kidding me.
Dude,
man, like
Rogue,
you know
that
what
one
I
of
would
the
do?
things he
Rogue
told us on Twitter was like, I don't understand why anybody wouldn't want to join Comicsgate and give their people good customer service. And you're telling me people who gave 5 figures to these guys for this culture war shit.
Roca Beer repeatedly backed $1,000 tiers of campaigns. I mean,
and do you know what I could do with that kind of money? Not to pump myself up, but I started Vivid Publishing with literally pencil and paper, no fancy trust fund, no angel investors, fucking nothing. I printed
This is
my
before
first books.
crowdfunding.
Yeah, before crowdfunding existed, I was running my own company off of PayPal buttons on a website that I learned to code myself because I couldn't afford to hire a coder. I was selling print-on-demand books at like razor-thin market because print-on-demand is expensive. So I was like, I got to build up capital for my company. But every book I sell, there's so little profit. It's like trying to build a log cabin out of toothpicks. But we did it year over year. I got a side job to pay the bills. We've gone up slowly, bit by bit. We're finally at the point now where we're getting some traction. We're signing more authors. We've got a tabletop game that we put out. We're developing a video game. And all of this has been like without any kind of outside investment whatsoever. So seeing these like big self-important honchos sucking in all these resources, and then what do they do with it? They just sit on their asses and fucking kick people out of their movement all day. Give me a fucking break.
Well, that's the thing. And that's what I'm getting at is that Comicsgate as a whole right now, the 3 big heads of Comicsgate are a guy that got kicked out of DC because of political opinions, a guy that got kicked out of Marvel for his political opinions, and a trust fund baby who's never done comics and is making a comic called Cash Grab.
Yeah.
So wait, who are these? There's Ethan Van Sciver, and who are the other 2?
John Malin and Cecil.
Okay, gotcha.
See, my thing is that I've always wanted to do comics. You know, when I was a perfect grub, it was paleontology, and then it was comics, and that never changed, right?
Right.
And I know that like I have no industry inside access. I'm in the wrong part of the country because I was growing up in the '90s bubble when I could have been picked up, during the everything comes from Seattle era, and I was also blue collar and lacy, which is like the equivalent to being invisible. And my thing is like it's not I don't even have to make a living at it, and I'd love to have a livelihood. I just want to make comics. I just want to die like putting my name on a thing saying, I made a comic that people bought.
I get it. I get that.
I don't need to be an internet rock star. I don't actually need to have the leather jacket. I don't need to be the guy sitting at the front of the panel going...
Just for the record, I do have a couple leather jackets.
Oh, I have a leather jacket. That's not the point. What I'm getting at is...
I'm holding out for a Guy Gardner jacket, but, all the same.
I'm just saying, like, if I was allowed, if I could get the opportunity or the chance or the process to get in to produce something on its own merits and people loved it or hated it, but at least it was out there, I'd be jelly. I'd be fine. Right?
Well, I will say, like, I think that's just thinking about it. If Comicsgate is like exhibiting the same problems that they were initially...
he said Seattle when I started thinking about Nirvana.
But if Comicsgate is sort of developing the same vices as the industry had originally pushed back against, I feel like the path forward is not to repeat the same strategy, because it seems like the initial strategy was like, oh, let's trash Marvel and DC and like be against them. So it's like being against these other indie creators. I don't think that does anything. The only path forward that I can see that I'm interested in is let's build really, really, really good stuff and just try to get it in front of people. And like overnight, you're never going to compete with like the Ethan Van Sciver, millions of followers, like legacy DC popularity. But over time, if you just consistently put good stuff out, it'll grow and it'll attract people. And it takes a long time. But I mean, I guess even look at our Volume 5 campaign.
I was going to say, you're
right.
right on.
Once my dick pics leak, we'll get millions.
Well, here's the thing.
Right.
You're already on the path, man. Like you're making $70,000 essentially on a kit, because you got 13 days left to get $2,020 to make it $70K. And that's the goal that I hope this stream accomplishes. Is over the next 13 days, that you get enough backers to raise this up to at least 70,000, 75,000, and unlock that art. And
I will say this is as we are being evidently, because I know at this point EVS knows about our campaign. He said he looked at the video. He's like, oh yeah, I'll have you on my stream sometime. So I was like, okay, cool. When? And then he ghosted. So it's like, I know that Comicsgate knows about our campaign. They are not talking about it. They don't want to talk about it. All of this, every single dollar earned there is totally outside of Comicsgate.
Right.
Well,
they have not helped us one shred.
Well, I have to make the comparison again to Gamergate, insofar as we actually saw this trajectory happen before. Gamergate got a bunch of buzz. Gamergate got a lot of process. And then right in the middle of it, Total Biscuit, very, very contentious but nice man, died from cancer. Got killed by the Big K, and instantly his
R.I.P. Biscuit
consumer advocacy, his nascent consumer advocacy group subverted. It destroyed itself and became the parody of itself, and really did not actually change the industry for the good at all in any meaningful way.
Wait. I feel like I said this like a year ago on this show.
Probably did.
Hashtag campaigns are retarded.
Probably.
Well,
but that's what I'm getting at though. Is like Comicsgate is unfortunately kind of the same. Is as power blocks form, it becomes less about what the actual goal is, which is independent advocacy and trying to shift the market towards serving its consumer. Who will buy comics? We will totally buy comics if you let us.
Well, the thing
is becoming more about supporting sacred cows, and that's unfortunate.
Well, the thing is, I found myself in a sticky situation because we have a very near and dear friend to the show. Ayrton, don't say his name, but
I won't.
he is
He's that.
he is very near and dear to the show and is very friendly with the rodent persuasion type of books that might have mastered a martial art or two.
Mm.
But he had a deal
the
with
most wholesome
Dynamite.
man in comic books.
He had a deal with Dynamite, and because of the backlash of someone else's Ethan Van Sciver, because of the backlash of his dealings with Dynamite and the fact that Dynamite went against his ideology or whatever, completely lost that deal after he had put in the work that would get him actually paid.
Ooh.
And that's the thing that bothers me. The thing that actually bothers me about this whole thing.
And I'll
there's
tell
more
you
to
guys
it
about
than
that
that.
off air. I can't talk about it on air.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's
Sure.
sort of a
No,
secret.
I won't go into specific. I won't go into specifics about it. But we had been going privately back and forth about what should we do about this. EVS is being a bit of a dickhead, but we're friends with this person. We don't want to cause any sort of like tension or anything or whatever. And then he told us about that, and Church was kind of just like, fuck it, I'm going off, we're doing it live. And it was, man, like when he told us about that, I was like, well, fuck, like what the hell. It's really fucked up.
Well, that's essentially the source of my outrage outside of that event, because I don't know anything about it, is I don't have any problem with anybody saying my work sucks, right? You look at my work, you say you like it, you say you don't, that's fine.
Sure.
You say, if you looked at me and said, kid, you tried hard, I appreciate your effort, but you're never going to be in the industry, find a different job, I'd be like, fine, I can do that, I can handle that. It hurts, you make me cry, but I can handle it.
Look, we never give up, we never surrender on this show.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey, nice.
But what makes me just livid is that there are people out there in the industry, and now industry adjacent, who are like, you can never try, you can never get your shot because you're a white, male, Anglo, bigot, racist, sexist, homophobe, transphobic, anti-robot.
Oh my god, you hate robots?
I mean, I could. I don't know. That's what they accuse me of.
I don't trust a robot.
I disavow.
But I also don't like anyone. Like, I would have a conniption fit at anyone who'd be like, "Oh, you're so special. You're a little cripple boy. Here, let me make your work published for you." I mean, I'd take the job, but I wouldn't like it.
You mean you wouldn't take a job at Marvel?
Always take the
If Marvel dropped down and said, "You're a little cripple boy, we'll give you a book," I would 100% take it. I absolutely would. I would also hate the people that did it. And
would you make it better than Captain Marvel? That's the question.
I mean, that's a pretty low bar, man.
I mean, he could take a shit, smear it on a couple of pieces
Arden,
of
that's the thing.
Copy paper and send it in. It would
No, that's the thing.
Marvel.
Have you guys seen my favorite movie? Have you seen Airheads?
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, I've seen Airheads. I need a bag full of.
Steve Buscemi.
I need a family-sized bag of M&Ms with all the brown ones taken out. Naked pictures of B. Arthur and a football helmet full of cottage cheese.
Exactly. So in the movie, Brendan Fraser, Steve Buscemi, and Adam Sandler all stage a false takeover of a radio station with guns that look real but are full of pepper sauce because they're so desperate to get their song on the radio so they can get a record deal that they're engaging in a major felony, right?
Okay.
And they actually do successfully get a record exec out there after using the airwaves to talk shit about the industry insiders that have been gatekeeping them out because of the draconian laws about unsolicited material, how you can't get you can't get listened to unless you're on the radio or the guy happens to be in the bar that you're working at and happens to like your work, right? And the guy writes them up a bullshit contract and tries to foist it off on them, and they're like, wait a minute, you haven't heard our demo yet. And he's like, well, I don't need to hear it, I heard part of it. Like, they're like, no, you heard part of it before it got ate by the machine. You ain't heard shit. This is BS. And Brendan Fraser literally takes the contract he just signed and wipes his ass with it. And it's like, no, that is my mentality for comics. Is like, I will do like anything to get in the industry.
I
But if
will
it's not
do
honest,
anything for love.
Damn right. I love that song. But if it's not honest,
I don't
I'd
remember how to
rather
play that
burn
song.
it.
Well, I will say, I think that unfortunately, at least from where I'm standing, I think getting into the industry, there isn't an industry to get into anymore. It's just insular cliques. So what we've been trying to do is we're literally building a totally new industry from scratch around us. Like me and Bone have talked about this over like grilling in the yard and killing turtles. We have had to build our own media outlets. We're literally building our own conventions. We built our own events. We had a live event here last year, and we're building our own graphic novel and comic series. And it's a lot of work, but it does feel like we're really starting to break through a little bit. Like the campaign we're running now to shill some more. I mean, it does give me hope because it's a rough year for everybody. Our customers are stretched too thin, but they're still showing up in force. And again, this is something that is completely outside the control of the Comicsgate head honchos, completely outside the control of Marvel, DC, that establishment. And if I can do it, other people can do it, and I want to help everybody do it who can. And I'm even just having this conversation, I'm starting to like roll through thoughts where it's like, you know what, what's the difficulty? People need to find each other. People need to network more. We need to get accurate reviews that can actually guide customers to good value. But then we have to get the visibility on those good reviews and those good comics. We have to get that visibility up. So I'm even starting to think maybe we could have like a marketing co-op or something. I don't know, but
people don't like those honest reviews. Let me tell you.
But I mean, there's stuff we can do. There's stuff we can do, and we're starting to actually get a little bit more traction. So I feel like our options are going to be opening up in the future as we go forward.
Well,
I mean, everybody talks
just
about
hold on,
the
real
internet's
quick.
connecting people thing.
Real quick, before you get off on that, you're talking about getting into the industry. One of the main characters the industry has been pushing for the past 5 years, really hardcore with 8 number ones, is Captain Marvel Carol Danvers. Okay.
But by the way,
eight
I hate that picture
8
of
number
the
ones.
figurine thing you put in there.
Oh
Jesus.
no! This is 4 different toys that they just can't even get right.
I'd
Like-
rather look at that drawing that Dreamkeeper stuck in there earlier.
No, that was Bone.
Just scroll down, man.
That bone stuck in there earlier.
What did I
scroll
do?
down. Scroll down, man.
Better
You're okay.
better artwork
It's not-
than the
it's not gonna
sculpts for
touch you.
these figures.
It's
Oh.
And I'm not gay.
It's true.
I only suck a cock once a month just to make sure I don't like it still.
It's true. It's true. But
It's not gay.
I might not.
It's not gay if you're making sure you're you just don't like it. It's not gay.
I might not care. I might not care for Vampirella, but if your Anthro Vampirella got an action figure, I'd rather have it than these Miss Marvel figures.
Thank you. No, it's an older piece of mine, but yeah, that was
I
But
personally want to know
looking-
why we don't have more Anthro action figures, for fuck's sake.
Well, before we
I wonder
before we get off the show, I've got a quiz Bone on this because I don't know that I'll ever get another chance.
Oh, sure.
All
right, sure.
Gold Digger, the comic. Are you a fan?
Oh, by Fred Perry. I haven't read it, but I know it's by Fred Perry and Arctic Press. I don't know much about it beyond that. I know it's very popular. It's very cheesecakey.
I mean,
It was
that
the
might be why
only
it's very
comic that
popular.
my old shop used to buy that we had to put a piece of paper in front of.
Oh, little little too. Oh my God.
A
Yeah, that.
little too
No,
risque
I know
for
what a gold
our
digger is.
main Pokemon audience. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
No,
as
and
far as I can tell, Extinctioners is never going to go anywhere.
Oh, Extinctioners. Oh my God. I don't meet a lot of people who know that name. My God.
That was on his pull list, but we never bought an extra copy of it. We always bought an extra copy of Gold Diggers, and it always sold. But I never
People
understood
like
the
it.
appeal. I never understood the appeal. Again, I'm not a cheesecake guy. I've always been more of a cape and cowl kind of guy. But when
If people with cheesecake, people like boobs,
Yeah.
and then they like boobs attached to particular aesthetic appeals. It's
fucking Witchbane,
It's
Angela, Gold Diggers, fucking
Witchblade, Witchblade, Angelus, Magdalena. Get it right. Come on.
No, I was talking Angela from Spawn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
See, that's the thing, man. That's the thing. All those characters are from that given window of like mid to late 90s comic, and I'm like, no. I'm like, none of them. And it's not because I don't like tits, it's because I want good, action-oriented hero comics.
Well, I used to, in the comic shop that I worked
I get that.
Well,
Why
in the
not both?
in the comic shop that I worked at, I actually used to keep a long box of adult-oriented comics for those guys, and I would always cycle in the new issues of those books. And if they didn't sell after a couple of weeks, I'd just discontinue the run from my Diamond account. Back when Diamond was the only option. I actually had some articles queued up, but I don't think we're going to get to them. DC has been making some really odd choices with their distribution
They
model.
sure have.
Oh, do you guys want to
I'm
get into
following that? It's very strange.
I can pull that
Actually,
up.
I am curious because I remember. Yeah, I'm curious about comic distribution because when I started out, Diamond was just not well set up for indies, and so they were always outside my reach unless I really wanted to just lose my chart.
It's still not well set up for indies.
Yeah, I believe that's
No.
by design. It's called Diamond telling you to go fuck yourself.
Pretty much, but that's why I'm definitely I'm
give
ears
you a
open.
19-inch black horse cock with a bottle of lube and send you on your way.
My ears are open for any new distribution model because we've got customers who like to buy the books, and people like to buy books in stores. So if there's a way for that to be facilitated, I'd be all about that.
Well, there's the first article I'm going to bring
Peter
up.
Samedi, of course.
In the live show chats. DC dropped UCS comic distributors.
Click on the article and actually read it.
Well, you don't have to. I'm going to read it to you. So.
Oh, nice.
DC Comics drops UCS comic distributors for Lunar, sets minimum orders.
I fucking hate MOQs. Fuck them.
In the summer, as shutdowns affect Diamond comic distributors.
Minimum order quantity.
As many comic book stores, DC Comics chose to set up 2 new comic book distributors for their biggest retail accounts. DCBD and Midtown Comics, both with an existing and extensive mail order operation, Lunar Distribution and UCS Comic Distributors, respectively, distributed DC Comics when Diamond were not, and when Diamond returned to distribution, DC dropped Diamond completely. Then, as Lunar and UCS struggled to distribute efficiently to Europe, DC went back to Diamond UK, first temporarily, then permanently. It was the new distributor wars. Now, anybody with a taste for comic history remember the distributor wars in the 60s, which effectively killed newsstand comics in the 80s, and reduced comic book stores to actually having to deal with Diamond. But anyway, moving forward. Now DC Comics is doing it again and is dropping UCS completely in favor of Lunar, so the DC now has 3 print distributors: Lunar, Diamond UK, and Penguin Random House, the publisher of House of Leaves, my favorite. Which means
that's a good one.
Yeah. Oh, who said that?
Weren't you?
No,
sending,
who
supposed
said
to be
that?
sending me a copy of that?
I'm still sending you a copy.
David.
Dave.
We're gonna have to do a House of Leaves
My,
show.
my husband read that earlier this year. My
Yeah.
husband read that
man,
earlier
you
this year.
can't
And he
do
loved
that.
Oh
You
man,
can't do that. That's not one setting reading. That's going to be like an entire series.
no. We'll just do a
That's
long
so
stream
deep.
about it. Wait till we have 400 subscribers.
Is
Oh,
that
okay.
going to be our 24-hour stream that you've been threatening for 2 years?
Yeah, maybe.
Because I've read it, and it's like it is both a visual and a literary work.
Mind
you have
fuck.
to
And
you have
Yes.
to hold
and
you have to
musical
hold
as
that
well.
shit in your hand.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
It's probably one of the best books ever written, and it will never be like duplicated. Even the own author can't duplicate the success of that. Only Revolutions couldn't do it. 50 Years Sword couldn't do it. Like, you're never going to replicate the success of that book, no matter how hard he tries with printing methods.
They're going to say someday somebody's going to say movie, and we're going to punch that guy in the face.
They've already said movie, and they've just completely abandoned the idea. So, anyway,
Good.
anyone with UCS accounts are now going to have to switch to Lunar, including Midtown Comics. Here at DC Comics, letter to UCS accounts, to a lot of retailers complaining about having to go through the rigmarole one more time in 2020. Not only that, but there are now monthly minimum of ordering DC Comics, $500 a month. Any store that doesn't order, just typing, that many won't be able to order any at all. While Diamond had a minimum order levels, differing discount levels to dissuade smaller orders, this is the first time a comic book publisher has set the minimum order amount. And I'm not going to read the
Do you ever
letter,
get the feeling?
but
I was going to say, do you ever get the feeling that they really want to change to a business model, kind of like Disney Plus and the like, where
well,
your only place to get comics is through their preferred salesman, and you have to use their Amazon storefront? And they're
well,
trying to like screw brick and mortar out.
So
I-
here's the thing.
I actually had
So-
stuff to talk about that.
well-
Yeah, go ahead.
So the idea of an MOQ, or minimum order quantity, what that essentially infers for like the distributor is they have a guaranteed set of income that they can rely on, because you have to order at least so many units or so many dollars, however they have it set up. So it's basically a way for a distributor to tell a retailer that you have to at least pay us this much money, no matter if you're actually going to sell the product that we're trying to send you or not. Now, sometimes it can due to shipping costs or, shit like that. But for the most part, it's basically like, we want to make at least this much money on every single order we ship out. So you have to order at least this dollar amount, essentially, is the idea behind an MOQ for a retailer to order from a distributor. Now, if you're ordering wholesale, that's a whole different game as far as MOQs and stuff like that. But as far as retail to distributor, that's the basic reasoning behind it.
Eradicate smaller comic shops.
Well, a couple of
Exactly.
days ago, Bleeding Cool broke the news the distribution arrangement between DC Comics and UCS Distribution was no more. It reported that DC drops UCS comic distributors for Lunar. We were totally 100% wrong. And I always like calling out Bleeding Cool being full of shit. So here we are. DC Comics did not drop UCS. UCS dropped DC. Because basically, it seems that Midtown Comics, owners of UCS, had enough of dealing with DC Comics at a distributor level, at least. So, I mean, that basically tells the story in and of itself. And quit rather than to renew. Now, Lunar will have the whole of DC Comics distribution monopoly to themselves unless someone else of similar size decides to volunteer their services. Now, I find it very hard that anyone to go on record with any of this. Lots of retailers and publishers want to keep all options open, everyone's suite, as well as certain NDAs in operation. but there's someone who really doesn't care who he annoys. And no, this time it's not Dennis Barger or Laurent Daughtry. No, not Brian Hibbs either. Congratulations to the most recent medical news. Texas comic book retailer Buddy Saunders and Lone Star Comics and My Comic Shop website. The only person who could probably fill Midtown Comics' shoes for DC right now, who wrote the following in his newsletter, and I will read this. A DC comic distributor throws in the towel. UCS, the distribution arm of Midtown DC Comics, they just can't take it anymore. Distribution falls to Lunar. We and other comic retailers are petitioning DC to resume distribution through Diamond Comic Distribution. Lunar has actually done an excellent job thus far, but our industry will be better served with 2 distributors for retailers to choose from. Competition breeds better service. Our DC Comics have arrived. We just got them in today. And this was on the 22nd or 23rd. So, today's the 24th. So this was well past Tuesday. But,
So,
yeah, go ahead.
Church, maybe you can enlighten me on something about the distribution comics.
Yeah.
Something that doesn't make sense to me. So, being in the cigar industry,
Mhm.
if I want to order a particular cigar, I can go directly to the company and be like, "Hey, I want to order your cigars," and they're like, "Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We'll send you our cigars." Why can't a comic book store do that?
Oh, wow.
Simply because Marvel and DC have long since been subsidized to larger companies. Marvel most recently with Disney,
Well-
and DC most recently with AT&T. And every time they get eaten up by these larger corporations and corporate mergers and buyouts, the company becomes less and less self-sufficient and more of a licensing cash grab. It was
Well,
back
see,
in the 70s and
but-
80s that they both
but-
shit. Well, hold on. Let me finish my answer. Back in the
Okay.
70s and 80s, when you saw the dissolution of newsstands, grocery store, barbershop, spinner rack comic books, it was because Diamond Comic Distribution required certain order levels, and they, discontinued turns. Because I don't know if anybody knows this or not, but back in the day, when you bought comics on a retail level, the big game was to buy back your comics for a nickel or, a subsequent amount determined to the price. But you would buy back your comics for a discount on the next comic that customer bought. And then you would return them for full money value so that you would get a credit on your account. Because people that had already read a comic didn't necessarily want to keep it for a collector's item because comics weren't collectible until the 90s. So
I have a.
So using that same example, a cigar company by the name of Drew Estate, who makes acid cigars, which are like the sweet ones. Hold on.
No,
I know acid.
before you get into that, the main difference between your allegory and your question is the fact that if somebody buys a cigar from you, they can't bring you the nub of the cigar and say, "Hey, I want to give this back to you for my next cigar."
True. That's very
It better
true. But
not.
if someone comes in and buys a cigar that I recommended to them, and they were like, "God, that was just awful. I hated that," I'll give them credit on their purchase of their next cigar.
But that comes out of your wallet and
that's
not
good
the
customer
distributor's.
service. It does.
Right.
So, so this brand or company, Drew Estate, who makes acid cigars, which are one of the most popular cigars in the country, was bought out, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago by Swisher Sweet.
Uh-huh.
I can still order directly from Drew Estate, though.
Well, that's because even though
And
AT&T bought Warner Studios, who own DC Comics, DC Comics is still an independent entity if you contact them. You don't phone up DC Comics and somebody says, "Hey, thank you for calling AT&T," but it's still owned by AT&T.
Right. Right. Like if I call my sales rep, he says, like his voicemail is, "Hey, this is so-and-so," I'm not going to give his name out, with Drew Estate. Like, he doesn't say with Swisher.
Right.
So, like, I just don't understand why the comic book industry you can't still call up Dynamite or Marvel or
Well,
DC if you want
that's
to go with the bigger guys and be like, hey,
well,
I
that's
want to buy, you know,
that's kind of a
this many
misnomer.
issues of this
You
comic.
can call up
Yeah, try
Dynamite
calling
Comics.
Diamond.
You can call up Dynamite. You can call up even Image to a certain degree. You can call the independent creators of Image and have them independently send you books. You can call up IDW and
Okay,
have
so you
them send
can
you
do
books. Yes. The thing is
'Cause-
you
Well,
pay
'cause the
more
way these
than
are,
you would
the way
going through
these are
Diamond.
always framed, it always sounds like the way that, like, these discussions about Diamond and comic book distribution are always framed are is like you can only buy through Diamond. Like, that's
It always
like
comes
the
up.
fucking mafia.
It always comes down to shipping and
You
freight
buy through
cost.
us, you
Well, no.
fucking-
Here's the thing, though. It always comes down to shipping and freight costs. There are shops out there that
Right.
do business independently, independent publishers, and independent artists and retailers and things of that nature that don't go through Diamond, and they eat the cost of distribution, and they have to charge typically 50 cents to $1 more than cover price to cover the cost of their comics just to break even.
Right.
My,
We actually
my,
have a
I understand that aspect of it.
my,
we
my
actually
question,
have a dealer system set up with Vivid Publishing where it, like, not that we're reaching out to retailers because I'm too busy to really, you know, pound the pavement with this.
Yeah.
But we got a little business card that got a QR code, and we'll just give any store that participates, we'll give that store a code. They put that business card, tape it to the wall. They don't even need to carry any inventory if they don't want to. But if they get a customer that scans that code and uses their store code, then we can give the store a retail, you know, percentage off the order, and the customer also gets 5% off. So the customer is incentivized to actually use that
Right.
code. So that's
Most-
our
I
kind of
mean,
workaround. It's just
I'm a pretty good salesman.
Well,
Just saying.
we'll do our business dealings
is
off
it-
air. Calm down. Go ahead, Rune Knight.
You mean on my channel?
my question is, isn't it disingenuous in this response letter, in this commentary, that they're like, we want to urge DC to go back to Diamond because competition is good. Diamond isn't for competition.
No.
They were a practical monopoly for decades. They're not interested in competition. Supporting Diamond isn't supporting the industry. It's not a positive.
Right.
And the idea, that DC wants to establish a new monopoly isn't better.
Dark Fox in
What
the
I think,
chat.
like,
Yeah,
just
I actually
broadly-
covered that secondary article, so just putting that out there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I will say, very broad strokes. I think the Marvel DC system, it's always going to be there to a degree, but it's withering for lots of reasons we don't need to get into immediately. But I think for comic shops, really, like, the big ticket change they need to do is they need to figure out how to get crowdfunded books into their stores,
Well,
because I think the crowdfunded market, I think that's the new
Well,
market where
honestly,
all the original.
I think the crowd-funded market needs to figure out how to come up with a way to get their books into the retailer stores.
no, and shut up.
Outside
Just
of the
stop there,
crowdfunding.
real quick, just to pontificate on that
Okay.
for a moment. It's not about getting crowdfunded comics into retail shops. Okay, retail shops are basically fossils. There are no retail
Yeah.
shops
Yeah.
that focus on comic books anymore. And the ones that do are hyper successful, and they have a dedicated market that pretty much buys every Batman, Spider-Man, whatever book you want to call it.
Sure.
The future is internet sales. And that is why Comicsgate,
And that's the now.
crowdfunded
That's not the
books.
future.
No, it's the future. It is the future as well. It's the now, but the future is buying your books online, supporting the artist you like. I have a Kevin Eastman book that I bought for my wife for Mother's Day this year. Totally Twisted Tales.
Oh.
Got shipped to my house by Kevin Eastman and his, distribution company or whatever. But it was all original.
Yeah.
And, this is one of the creators of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So, I mean,
Oh, I know all about Kevin Eastman. I interviewed him 2 years ago.
We
What?
you know, we've got
Send us some contact.
we've got
He's a nice guy. It was a fun interview. It was a good time.
that's the same thing I'd say about Don Chen. I'll drop you the tag link, and we'll talk about that in the
do.
next minute or so. But this is the actually, you know what?
I've got to run soon, so I'm looking for a nice way to tactfully exit. But
who's trying
I mean, you can go
to get out of
whenever.
here?
that's me. That's Bone. I just got to get moving. But
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Go ahead and give your final thoughts. We're closing up the stream now. It's we're actually over.
okay. No, I was trying to. It seemed like you guys were on a good roll. So, but anyway,
We're going to the drunk after party on my channel after this. If you
Oh,
want, the StreamYard link will be in the show chat here.
no, I'm just
Yeah,
dead,
absolutely.
so
Yeah,
I'm like,
definitely.
Fair enough, buddy.
no, this
Well-
was fun. Thanks so much, guys. If
Hey,
you
I
ever need me to talk about weird, fucked up furry comics, hit me up.
We'll set up
Don't
a
give
review of
Church
Gold
more
Diggers just
ideas.
for you.
Oh boy, I haven't actually read. I mostly read very normal comics, so
Oh, we'll have you on for that too.
My-
But anyway, go ahead
Oh.
and give your outro so you can get out of here, so that we can.
oh god, what even is an outro? Boneitis, I was here. This was fun.
All of his links are in the description down below.
I don't know. Plug
Have
some shit.
Bone,
If
have
you-
I taught you nothing? The launch page. Give them the pre-launch page.
No. What you do is you Google Boneitis, and if it's not a Futurama reference, it's me. So
Well, click on his links down below. You can find his Patreon. You can find his
fantastic.
Fur Affinity.
oh,
You can find his Twitter. All of that stuff. Boneitis, thank you for
Great.
joining us today. I appreciate you coming in
no problem.
and sticking to
Always
the long
fun to-
haul.
Sure. Always fun to shoot the shit about comics. So
Hell yeah. Well,
All right.
thanks for coming on, buddy.
Hazen Cruz,
Thank
you were second in the intro, so you'll be second in the outro as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us on. It's been fun.
Fuck you, Hazen Cruz.
Like I said, I think the link you put is my YouTube, right?
I linked to your
Yeah.
YouTube and your fucking Patreon, you bitch.
Oh boy, we're getting real fancy here.
Yeah.
And your Twitter account, so
All right.
people can follow you and unfollow you because you're a degenerate. If you follow Hazen
Yeah.
Cruz, be sure to mute him if
Typically
you don't
how
want
that
furry
goes.
porn on your timeline. And last
We'll
but
see who
certainly
stays
not
followed.
least, David, go ahead and give your outro, and the co-host will have their say, and then Eric will get your guitar ready.
All right, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for listening to me ramble with these fine fellas for a little while. And I will shill my Indiegogo at the close here. We're running Vivid Publishing. The only thing we're focused on is making really good stuff. You don't have to bend a knee to fucking anybody. Just enjoy the work. And if you are interested in Dreamkeepers at all, check out Dreamkeepers on Indiegogo. The Omnibus is definitely the best chance to get into the series because this is a hardcover collection of volumes 1 through current. So you'll be totally caught up and you'll have a freaking beautiful book with all the fancy stuff on it. So
And not
please
only
have a good time.
not only that,
go
but the link for the Indiegogo, his Twitter, and his website is in the description down below. Check those out.
Thank you. So yeah, and whatever your poison, enjoy what you enjoy, have a good time, and good job listening to some guys that are just giving you their thoughts because we need more of that. So that's me.
As they said in the 80s with Iron Man, we're giving you the straight dick here.
Solid dick.
That's right.
I
All right, Rune Knight,
got it.
what have you got? What have you got to say? Rune Knight.
Rune Knight said BRB in the show chat a couple minutes ago, so I don't know if he's back yet.
Okay, well, Rune Knight's a
So.
great guy. Follow him, Joseph McKeever on Twitter.
Yeah, check him out. He's awesome.
Yeah, we'll be doing a board game stream with him at the helm sometime soon. But beyond that,
We'll talk about. Oh, wait, I got a segue. which we will talk about a little bit more because I have no idea what's going on over on my channel for the after party. Check that out, Ayrton McCartney on YouTube. I'm working on shilling my shit. Tomorrow at 4 p.m., episode 2 of Music Talk. Church, you gonna be there, buddy?
Of course I will.
All right. And the StreamYard link is in the chat there. If anyone who wants to jump in, feel free.
Here's the YouTube chat for Ayrton McCartney's channel in the actual chat room. And click on that and get ready. But
so tomorrow's well, real quick, tomorrow's episode of today's episode of Music Talk is going to be with a good buddy of mine who I've known for over 10 years now. Has been a mentor of mine. It should be.
You didn't tell me I was the guest on this show.
I haven't known you for over 10 years.
It seems like that long.
I mean, it fucking feels like.
All right, get us out of here. You gonna play something for us?
I appreciate that. I mean, I can, I guess.
I told you to get your goddamn guitar ready. Do it.
I fucking missed that part.
Okay. Fuck it. We're not gonna do it. Just get us out of here like normal. Fuck it.
I mean.
No, just get us out of here. All right. Thank you.
Good night, folks.